As I have said before, I will work with or against anybody to help people who are behind bars and to shine the light on prison reform. In that spirit, I participated in a panel at CPAC last week. That is the biggest gathering of conservatives in the country. And yes, it was a little bit intimidating to walk into a massive conference of my political opponents. But I saw an opportunity to engage with people there with an open heart and an open mind. So take a look. I'm always saying that we've got to get out of our camps, get out of our bubbles, talk to each other even when it's hard. And so I am here walking the talk at CPAC. This is the biggest conservative gathering in the country, probably in the history of humanity. And I'm going to talk to a whole bunch of people here, and we'll see how it goes. Your young folks, I mean, a lot of the young people, they're moving toward AOC. Yeah. They're moving toward Bernie. Yeah. I mean, how do you stand up to that Bernie AOC tidal wave?
Oh, you know, I think we're doing great things as far as voter outreach.
We got Kanye, right?
Nearly 10,000 people are here at CPAC. Now, the Republicans in Congress are mostly white men, but the crowd here spans the spectrum of age, race, ethnicity, and gender. Why are you wearing that hat?
I'm wearing this hat because I want to show my pride for President Trump.
My president, Mr. Trump, is the best thing happened to this country because actually you don't believe that.
I do not believe that.
No, you don't believe that.
No.
I love this country. I'm an immigrant.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. Why do you like Donald Trump so much when Donald Trump does say very harsh things about immigrants, very harsh things about so many people?
It's true. Do you think there's a lot of immigrants who made in this country? They don't want those people to come in here and take advantage.
Why are the conservatives doing so badly in recruiting women candidates?
I think Republicans are open to women more and more. Like, we had Carly Fiorina running in the primary. We had Sarah Palin running. I never looked at Hillary Clinton as a woman. I looked at her as a politician. And I think that's largely how Republicans view people, so they don't feel a need to push people to tokenize them, because I never want to be viewed as a woman. I want to be viewed as a person. I'm mostly received with well wishes and words of support. Still, political tensions are high, and a couple of people here are not so happy to see me.
Do you still think the election was a white lash? Do you think that we're all a bunch of racists? Is that what you were saying when you said the election was a white lash?
Hold on a second. Do you want to answer?
Let us know.
Wait, do you want to answer or not?
I asked you, yes.
So here's my answer. I said it was a white lash in part, and it was. There's a part of your coalition
my coalition, don't you include me with this coalition that you think we are.
Very good.
That's wrong.
No big surprise here, but most people at CPAC do not blame Trump for the divisiveness that now characterizes our politics.
That's been starting since the middle of Obama's campaign. Obama's presidency, and ever since Trayvon Martin.
You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
What do you think about the Trayvon Martin and Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff?
It's a shame, but it's also two sides of that story. Me being former law enforcement, you have to think about what they're going through as well. There's families of ICE and families of Border Patrol being threatened. So everybody has a role to play and to unify and also be responsible with their rhetoric. Everyone.
What do you think you can do to bring people together while you're wearing that hat? How does wearing that hat, which seems to be on one side of the divide, how's it going to help you bring people together?
Well, in my experience, I mean, I can't even walk down the street with it back home. I'm from Boston. Get yelled at, stuff thrown at me, get the middle finger. I can't even walk into a store without getting, ridiculed for it. I mean, if I walk by somebody and they're wearing a Hillary Clinton hat, I wouldn't flip out over it. But it's crazy how a hat that has a presidential slogan could just cause somebody to want to just physically harm you.
Do you understand why, if you were, from a community where, Trump has you in the sights, that it might be an offensive hat? In other words, suppose your cousin is an undocumented immigrant. Can you see how that hat might seem like a middle finger from you?
Well, in a way, on their behalf, like if you're an undocumented immigrant, I honestly understand why you don't like Trump, because he's trying to get you deported because you came here and broke the law. But I mean, I could see that.
Conservatives are watching pretty closely as the Democrats exert congressional oversight.
I'll tell you, that crapola that was going on up here the last few days with these hearings POs me.
Why?
Because they wasting time doing that instead of figuring out ways to get the money and the infrastructure and the environmental stuff squirted out so we can get the bootstrap work done.
So you're mad that Congress has got Michael Cohen there. Aren't you outraged, though, by what Michael Cohen is saying? I mean, he's saying tough stuff.
I am, but
I mean, he's saying tough stuff.
Trust him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do to a certain extent, but actually no. I want the government to take care of our bootstrap issues.
Why do you think, a Michael Cohen, who was so close to the president for 10 years, when he does come out and he says these negative things, why don't conservatives then turn on the president?
I don't believe him, for one, and if I do believe parts of it, I think it's really very shaded. And I'm looking at what the president has accomplished for the issues that I'm looking for, and he's been pretty good with all the stuff against him, with all the negative stuff. He's done a pretty good job on the issues that I care about.
As you know, wherever I am, I look to build bridges and try to find some common ground. Do you think that climate change is real and caused by human activity?
Yes.
Well, what are you doing in the Conservative Party? You should be in my party.
Well, I think that our answers could be better because I think the market and better incentives and limited government could be helpful, and limited government policies could be helpful if we actually propose them. We need to create a policy nationally that fits economically and environmentally, and that's what I'm looking to do.
Man, where you been my whole life? New Orleans Saint linebacker Demario Davis is also here to speak on criminal justice.
We have a huge issue in our country with mass incarceration. That's really a scary thing when you think about it. We're the most incarcerated country in the world. And when you look at our system, and 40% of the people that are in jail in our country are there on pre-trial basis, meaning they have not been convicted of a crime, that's a tragedy in itself. And so we got to fix that.
Do you see yourself as more of a conservative, more of a progressive?
I'm just a person for the people. I grew up in extreme poverty, and then to be able to make it to the league and my lifestyle changed, I've been able to see the good and the bad of both worlds. Yeah. And so I think I'm able to speak from a place of understanding.
They want to replace individual rights with total government domination.
And while watching this event can at times be disturbing, being here did remind me that not everyone and everything is like what you see on TV.
Very simple. Treat each other with respect. We're not doing that on both sides. We're not doing that. It's a wonderful opportunity for me to talk to you, and hopefully people will see us talking, and you know what? We've come up with some solutions already.
Right.
Hey, all right.
Well, let's keep doing it. I appreciate you very much.